Good Saturday evening. I'm certified meteorologist Nick Kelly checking in on the September 9th of 2017. For those of you that caught wind of today's date, thank you kindly for the birthday wishes. I do not mind at all working on my birthday today, and at the very least keeps me from getting into trouble around here. Let's talk about the forecast now, though. We have been quiet for most of this week. We'll keep things quiet again for tomorrow and Monday overall, before we could see Irma possibly influence our forecast by midweek, and maybe some other thunderstorm chances waiting for us by next weekend. We'll touch base on all that as we roll along here. First, a view from 7th and Range Line overlooking the steeple of the Forest Park Baptist Church in Joplin. We're looking back to the west. Quiet skies over the area, not just the city, as we roll into the overnight hours. It was definitely a bit of a chilly start this morning. We actually started in the middle to about the upper 50s for most spots, mainly between 54 and 57 degrees. Fast forward to this afternoon, though, we didn't waste any time warming up. A little bit cooler compared to yesterday. We hit the mid-80s overall today, 84 in Joplin, 87 in Miami. Everybody about in the same ballpark. And the electrical temperatures we had at about almost a quarter to 11. Had 71 in Chanute, 70 in Bentonville, in most spots. Otherwise, in the middle to upper 60s on this Saturday night. Skywatch Storm Tracker kept us quiet overall, despite some passing clouds here or there. We will keep things nice and quiet again tonight. It's a far different story to our neighbors and friends down in Florida, with the outer bands of Irma already working close to the I-4 corridor as we roll into the overnight. We'll touch base on Irma in a moment. A little band of showers really falling apart in southwestern parts of Minnesota and Iowa. A weak disturbance that's passing north of us. That's not a big deal for us at all. The water view with the upper level setup still has an interesting upper level low just sitting offshore of Los Angeles in southwestern California. By the end of next week, this will reorganize and send a system our way that could bring some thunderstorm chances in by next Saturday. In the short term, though, let's focus on Irma. This is still an amazing presentation on the infrared satellite view going throughout this whole event so far. And as we zoom in, this is the high-resolution satellite view from the GO-16 satellite that launched into space not too long ago. This allows us to look at Irma with every passing minute. You can see how it's been holding most of the day right along the northern shores of Cuba, but this evening it has begun its eventual northern track heading toward the Florida Keys and eventually southwest Florida by tomorrow. And the latest check that I've seen has the eye, at least the center of the eye, 72 miles away from the Florida Keys. So it's only a matter of time before things really start to go downhill for the Sunshine State. You can see in the red as we show you the hurricane stats. Those are all hurricane warnings from the Keys all the way up to Jacksonville and as far west as Apalachicola going into the Florida Panhandle. So at the latest advisory, the 10 o'clock advisory our time had Hurricane Irma as a Category 3 storm with sustained winds of 120 miles per hour, moving northwest at 6. Pressure is at 933 millibars in its current location, 23.5 north, 81 even, up to the west, at least west longitudinally. Looking at the rest of the track here, it'll be working over the Keys by tomorrow morning and maybe strengthen just a little bit more over the open waters, maybe 125 mile per hour sustained winds by 7 o'clock our time, 8 o'clock Eastern. Going into Sunday evening, it'll really start to work over Fort Myers, Sanibel, and getting close to the southern parts of Tampa around Sarasota and Bradenton going into Sunday evening. And by then, it'll start to weaken a little bit with sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. The center of Irma wants to go right over to Tampa Metro, wants to weaken to a Category 1 by Monday morning with sustained winds of 90 miles per hour. Looking at Monday evening, it should be a tropical storm as it crosses over the Atlanta-Georgia border with sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. And I will point out here, we will see northeast winds on Monday, so that will influence our temperatures a bit while we stay mostly sunny. But as we continue through the rest of the track, we will get the cloud cover from Irma as we go into Tuesday, while the better rain chances stay around Memphis and the Missouri Boot Heel. I can't rule out a stray shower from Irma here on Tuesday. That should be our overall impact from Irma before it eventually dissipates and we eventually go back to partly sunny skies by Wednesday. That's all Irma wants to do with our weather for now by Tuesday and potentially Wednesday. So we'll keep an eye on Irma as we roll into next week. In the short term, though, we keep things nice and quiet for tonight. Maybe a little cloud cover once again, working in overnight and by sunrise, but we should be able to drop back into the upper 50s. And I think the better shot for any additional cloud cover holds off until tomorrow afternoon. Overall, though, it's going to be a quiet day, but with an east breeze kicking in, maybe a little bit cooler. Let's say 58 in the morning, 75 by noon, and then afternoon highs look to top out right around 80 degrees. Here is your 7-day forecast. We dropped to 55 Monday morning, 77 under mostly sunny skies for Monday afternoon with those northeast winds from Irma driving those temperatures down a bit. Maybe a stray shower from Irma, otherwise mostly cloudy on Tuesday with highs are 77, back to 82 Wednesday, mostly sunny and warmer on Thursday with highs are 88, and we look to bounce back into the lower 90s by next weekend. Friday looks quiet for now, but I think another system will sneak in from the west, and it could give us some thunderstorm chances, at least have them sneak back in by next Saturday. Have a good night. Have a great Sunday.